Welcome to the Webby O'Neill channel. It's a great pleasure to have two-time Champions League winner back with us today, Wes Brown. Thanks for coming, Wes.
Wes, been a while.
Yeah.
When you was last here, you spoke about Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof. How do you see that partnership?
Yeah, I mean, it's been okay. I think, at times there's been lack of communication and concentration where we've let in silly goals.
Yeah.
Sometimes that doesn't show how good they are because of them little lapses, but there has been too much of that.
Yeah.
A little bit where and to be fair, we've been punished with them as well. Sometimes you can get away with them, but our luck, we sort of get punished with him. I always still think you can improve the squad, and regardless how good you are, you can always bring people in just as good or better, and it helps the whole team. And for me as a defender, it's crucial that we don't let goals in and stupid goals. So it's still going okay. We've got Axel there now as well.
Yeah.
Where obviously the PSG game away, he was excellent. It was probably ideal for him to play.
Back five?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he's got the pace. He's not got the experience, even though he's been on loan, but he's not got the experience of playing at Man United. He's 23, 24 now, I think, Axel. So he's going to be wanting to push to get into this team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it will take a little bit of doing if he wants to get in there, because you have to show consistency. He's going to have to get a bit of luck with his injuries. I know all about that. So we need a little running in the side to maybe make the manager think, okay, I'm going to throw him in again next week.
I see him more comfortable in a back five where there's like someone helping him out. Tuanzebe's there. You've got the left back. You've got the right back. Gives them more.
Yeah, that back five, when we have played it this season, you can see we've been more solid.
Yes.
And it is. You've got more security.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. And, there's times when we've needed that because we have looked a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
I do think they can play in a back four. But like I said, it all comes down to mistakes. We can talk about this player's good and not good, but if we can stop the mistakes out, it kills off all that hysteria of we're not a good defence in general.
Yeah.
And like I said, we seem to get punished, which is what teams are going to do at this level to you.
But the two of them, the Solskjaer's pick, and they're doing well, and may it continue.
And yeah, may it continue, but you can always improve as well.
Yeah.
You can, and then it becomes a fight again. And in my eyes, I always would want it like that anyway, in any position.
Yeah.
Well, just before I go on to one of my questions, Wes, I'm going to go on about Maguire, because if you're going back a few weeks, before the Newcastle game where he scored to get back in the game, he was getting absolutely hammered. He got sent off playing for England. There was people saying he should be dropped for United. He should have the captaincy taken off him. What's your stand on Maguire now? Because for me, since Newcastle away, he's been absolutely superb, going about his work quietly.
Well, he went through a tough time, didn't he? Yeah. All that stuff happened abroad as well. So he's had a little bit of off-pitch scenario, and that can affect you a little bit. As a player, you try and not let that happen as much as possible. But Harry Maguire's the captain of Man United. He's going to get all the press, whether it's good or bad. And when it is, bad press, the press are going to go hard on him. In a way, you've got to try and ignore it. Do you know what I mean? Which will be hard to do because the expectations are so high. But like I said, he's a player that if he can get his consistency going, it's fantastic. We've seen it before for us. We've seen it at Leicester before he come. And I don't mean he's not like flamboyant or anything. He just does his job. He's good in the air. He's great positional sense, and he's the captain of the team. I know a few people would like to see Bruno captain because of what he brings to the team. And they always talk about how he's shouting at the players. But I think at the time, there's no one else you can go to.
Just going onto my question there. Obviously, I don't know if you've seen a clip of the second equaliser going in at Southampton where everyone's surrounding Cavani and Bruno saying, come on, let's get back, let's get the ball back, let's get this winner, which is great to see. But going on to my question now, and Tony's brought it up there, can you see Axel getting into the team, or what does he need to do to try and force one of these two out?
He needs to try and stay fit, to be fair, because I think Ole understands his potential. I think it's there for everyone to see. He's shown it at the PSG game, and it's little one-off games here and there. And then he did play the next game, I think, and didn't play too well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he needs a run in the side, and sometimes that comes with somebody else getting injured as well, Webbs. Do you know what I mean? And that's the unlucky thing about football. But when he does get a chance, he needs to get 2, 3, 4 games under his belt consistently. And then you can see where especially Ole will see where he's at.
Me and Tony were quite shocked that he never started against Chelsea when they come back from thing. We were shocked, and then you're rightly saying he had a bit of a shaky game in Istanbul. He's suspended for the Paris Saint-Germain game, which is unfortunate. Yeah. So like you're saying, if he gets a run, we all know he's good enough.
Yeah, and listen, it's Man United. I remember there's times when we were coming through as young lads. You probably only get 1 or 2 games to show what you can do. And if the pressure got to you, it doesn't mean you'd never play football again, but it's very tough to get back in the side, you know what I mean? So he needs a little bit of luck on his side, I think, because I think we can all see the attributes he brings. He's quick, he's strong, and I think he's more determined than anything. I can see it on his face, the way he plays. He's a very determined player, and you can see he thinks it's now maybe time, maybe with his age, that he's going to try and really push for this team. He just needs a bit of luck.
What's your opinion on the new signings? Telles, Van der Beek, and Cavani.
Yeah, I think the first thing is Bruno's key, because even I'm guessing Ole didn't expect to see what Bruno's doing.
Yes.
I'm not a stat guy, but the stats he's putting up are phenomenal for a midfielder. Regardless what people say, they are phenomenal. Donny, he's come from a great team.
Yes.
A great footballing team, as in, they like to play, they like to do a bit of ticky-tacky, as they say.
Yeah.
Hasn't had much opportunities at the beginning.
Yeah.
Telles, the first game we've seen him in, I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
And Cavani, we've seen him a bit here and there, 10, 15 minutes as sub. Now, we'll start with Cavani. Cavani is a top-class striker regardless of his age, yeah? Yes, he's getting older.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a bit slower.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy who looks after himself, by the way.
Does look.
He looks fit, he looks determined. And I think with time, he will score goals for Man United. He's a sort of striker that we've missed.
Yes.
And I think everyone will agree with that. He's a 6-yard box, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Put it somewhere around there and I'll get first touch on it. And he knows where the net is. Yeah. He was brilliant against Southampton. And that's mental as well.
Yeah.
We know we've been in many of them situations where we've scored right at the end, many a games. But he seems to have that same mentality, and you need that, because scoring them goals at that time, when you're walking off that pitch and then going into your next game, the confidence is rocket high, just because of the timing of what you scored. I think Telles he knows what he's doing. I think he's very steady, he's experienced. And if I'm being honest, at first I thought, it's going to be a good battle between him and Shaw, because Shaw's playing well. But then Shaw gets injured and Telles takes his chance. And that's what I love. Yeah. That's why I love it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And yes, you could probably say there's certain players that are going to start. Yes, Marcus Rashford is going to start. Yes, Bruno is going to start. But there's not many of them. No. Does that make sense? You always want battles all over. And I think Telles, because Shaw was playing well, has done well, just like Brandon Williams was. So this is what I mean. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. Someone's going to be upset.
There's a squad pushing.
Yeah, someone's going to be upset, but get upset and train harder then. And that's how you want to push each other. And Donny's not had a lot of gameplay, but you can see, the last couple of games when he's played, he brings something different to us, I think. And the way he links up with Bruno and the forwards, it's a completely different way of us playing.
Which we've not seen.
We've not, and it's quick. It's you You can see a lot of imagination there as well.
Yeah, they seem to know where each other is without even looking.
Yeah, so it's a lot of it's one-touch passing as well, and everyone's running forward. I like how he receives the ball. You know, you can see as a Dutch player the way he just takes the ball. It's all nice. He knows where everyone is. Let him play a season first, and then maybe judge. Because listen, we are fans. We do judge. That's why I suppose we support teams. But we just got to give him a little bit of time. But I think, you know, the bits we've seen, he looks like he gets in the box. He wants to score. He knows when to run in the box as well. Yeah. So all good at the moment.
All three signings, as I see it, are top class. Yeah. Top class for this team and this squad to help move them forward. Yeah. And that the good signs. One or two more further down the line. I think he's away, Solskjaer.
How do you see it going forward now with Ole? What's his next move?
Yeah, well, first, I think it's just we've got to stabilise the team where we're playing well consistently. And I don't mean that's not... You can still get beat. But there's been too many games where we play really well and then we think, right, we've cracked it again, but then we won't play that well. Now, that's not Ole. Do you know what I mean? Because we're not changed much. We can't play so good this week and then not the next week. That's just a mentality thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, you know, the players, sometimes you have to look at yourself as players as well and understand that and take some responsibility. But I think Ole's done a really good job, and you never know, in January there might be more signings. I understand that eventually players are going to have to go because there's a lot of players that we've got on the books that have not even really featured at all this season, and you know, but that happens when that happens. You know what I mean? I don't think that's going to stop Ole from buying. If
we need to strengthen in January, where do you think we need to go? What position do you think we need to get?
Yeah, again, we could always go another defender, centre back. I think we could always, if needed, go another striker as well. Only because, you know, if Rashford or Martial or Rashford and Mason Greenwood were to get injured, we're sort of in the same stance where he was, you know what I mean? And to have the backup there would be very nice to have. Listen, I don't mean we're buying players necessarily that they're going to get in the team, but you still want good players that Ole thinks will fit around the squad and good in the dressing room.
Me and Webby, many a time over the last 6 months, brought up about Pogba. Yeah. My belief, there's no contract negotiations going on with his side and with the club. My belief is January, he's out. No later than the summer, because that's the way it is. How do you see everything surrounding Pogba at this moment with the club going forward?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think when Pogba comes back, I mean, everyone's excited. You know, he's great at Juventus, the team that they had, he fitted in perfect, you know, and he's come back, and we all know how good Pogba can be. I think we all can see it. You know, on his day, he's stronger than most people. He can take people on. He can score good goals. When he has been fit, he's not lately really featured at all. So I think that shows that, you know, I'm not saying he's not in the picture, but it's not the first look where Ole's looking for anymore. I think obviously Scott and Fred were brilliant at the beginning, with obviously Bruno just above. And then Donny, the last 2 games, has brought something, I think, completely different to the side, where I think the lads understand and know how Donny plays and Bruno. And they've played very good, you know, little passes, little 1-2s, and making it a complete different game to what we've normally seen over the last few months. So yeah, Pogba's one of them situations. Listen, Pogba costs a lot of money. He's not played now for a while, whether he's injured or not. And I'm guessing at some point, you know, the club and Pogba will come to a deal, maybe where he goes, you know, because if you're looking at it from outside, you can see him getting back in and changing it all again. Do you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like Ole's made different signings now.
There's a parting of the ways due here.
There's a
parting of the ways.
Yeah, maybe it's going to happen because the longer it goes on, and especially if he doesn't play, then that's what it looks like. Yeah. And it's a shame because he is a great player. Like no one's questioning that. But at the same time, it's not worked how you know.
We all
would have, because it's just not gone
Not
that way.
everything in life works out, Wes.
And it doesn't.
No.
It
Who'd
doesn't.
have thought me and you'd be sat here up here now? There you
Go
go.
on.
But looking at just staying on the Paul situation quickly, as I always remember that video from the World Cup where he seems to be in the dressing room and everybody's listening to him. And I thought the speech was great. He won the World Cup final. And I thought, well, bring that mentality back to Old Trafford. Then he could become the next captain. But it doesn't seem to have worked for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened in the change room. Like, I honestly don't. But, you know, whatever has happened, even mentally, or, you know, I mean, you could ask Paul tomorrow and he might be like, no, I'm still trying to get in this team. You know what I mean? But as it worked out, it wouldn't have worked out to plan.
Yeah.
No.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And listen, Paul's a great player. Even if he was to go, he'll still be at a big club.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and good luck to him if he gets a big club.
Yeah, of course. But, you know, with the players I think Ollie's brought in, if that does happen, you can see the change over. And that's for the club, that's a good thing.
So basically, obviously, in a few hours' time, we're going to be playing Paris Saint-Germain. So what's your thoughts? I know the first game, we deservedly won 2-1 over in Paris. I think that flattened them, Paris, if it wasn't right. So how do you see it going tonight, Wes?
I think we'll be okay. And what I mean by that is Paris Saint-Germain are not playing too well at the moment. They've got a few injuries. But they've got Mbappe. They're still a threat. So we've still got to be on our toes. We need a point. You know, so we at certain point in the game, if it's still 0-0, we will be a bit cautious, I'm guessing. But I always see it as, listen, I've seen the team play really well like you have. Now, when we're at our best, we could beat anyone on the day. Yeah. So we can beat PSG. We've done it before. We need to start doing it at home as well, though. So we just have to start well and quick. You know, we've had too many games this season where we've let in goals early. And then we're always fighting back, you know, we get into the game a bit later on. And if we can shut shop there a little bit, we're always a threat when we're on the counter-attack, but we're always a threat going forward as well. But we just need to stop the sloppiness of, and I don't just mean the defenders for that. You know, it's certain positions that people running off people. But we just all need to get together and try and stop that because we can punish people up front.
Yeah.
On the game tonight, Wes, pressure. Hell of a lot of pressure on PSG here.
Yeah.
I mean, some pressure there. I mean, there's pressure on United because really, they brought pressure on themselves by the sloppy game in Istanbul. But PSG, Mbappe, Neymar, them two players tonight, they're under proper pressure to justify their world status.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, they've not been playing too well as a team as well. And probably individuals. You never would have thought they would have gone out at this stage of the competition before the season started. You know, they're getting to semi-finals, finals the last two years or something. So yeah, big expectation. But
they're on 6 points.
Listen, we all know you need 10 to be 100%.
Yeah.
And if they don't win tonight and Leipzig win, they're out. They're out, and that would, you know, there'd be a lot of pressure there.
Tuchel will be sacked, no doubt about it.
Yeah, because they're not doing too well, are they? They're like Man United in their league, you know. So it's tough. The expectations are so high. You've got two of the biggest paid players in the world in one team. Yeah, you know, young players. Obviously, Mbappe a little bit younger, but their expectation is to
win the lot.
We're going to win because that's it. Yeah. And I know in France as well, they're very detailed about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that'll favour us a little bit in the game, if I'm being honest. Because,
hopefully.
Yeah, if we can just be tight, because if we know that the threat they're going to bring, we will get opportunities because they have to, they have to win the game.
They
really.
have to win.
Give us a prediction, Wes.
I think there'll be a few goals, but I'm going to go 3-1 Man United.
3-1. Before we pack up, Wes, I just wanted to speak to you about, obviously we had a sad day here last month, the passing of Nobby Stiles, and I know he was your first coach at United when you first signed. You just tell us a bit about the man, what you remember about Nobby.
Yeah, but you have to remember that I was only like 13, 14 at the time, and I've just signed for United. And straight away, it was like summer holidays, and we went to a tournament. We used to call it a Sunderland tournament in the Northeast, and Nobby was the manager. And I just used to think, what a guy, this guy is just, he's shouting. And I was really quiet then. I knew exactly who he was, what he'd done for the game. Obviously, World Cup, that is one. So the respect was so high for him. You know, very old-fashioned sort of manager. You know, in your face, telling you what he wants straight away. So yeah, I mean, he was like my first coach. You know, I know he wasn't necessarily taking lessons because it was a little bit different than teaching the coaching lessons. But he was my first manager in a tournament, and everyone absolutely loved him. You know, and it's probably until you get a bit older you understand why everyone loves him as well. But he has got great personality. He's got a great character. Very loud. He will say basically what he wants. But he was a good guy with us. We were only kids, you know what I mean? We're just sort of learning our trade. And it helped a lot. But like I said, I was still in school, and so we would only see him every now and again. And then by the time I signed at 16, he wasn't there anymore. So it's a shame, really. But you know, it's when we're that age, we don't really know much more. Yeah.
Well, on that note, Wes, been an absolute pleasure having you
Cheers,
back
always,
again.
Boys,
You've joined us as we've got 25,000 subscribers.
Well done, everyone.
So that's a lovely milestone, 25,000 subscribers.
So many about City getting on a when we're not there, innit?
Press them notifications because that bell will tell you when we're back again, and we will be back tonight after the game. So please check in on that. Thank you very much, and press all the likes. Wes,
see you later. Cheers,
absolute
boys.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Boys.
Thank you.